Welcome to today's show. We're going to jump in and talk about Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin at its bottom? Is the bull run going to continue on, or at least the bull run we've been having for a couple days? And ultimately, I'm going to talk about Stretch. Is Stretch really accumulating more and more Bitcoin the way that it is operating right now with strategy? And we're going to get into the fact that Ethereum is moving more and more into cold storage. It's moving off of exchanges. Why is that? So we're going to talk about that in today's show. And I'm going to get in and share with you how I'm trading also with BMNR and MSTR. And I'll show you what I did today to pick up some gains. And I'll show you some technical analysis as well. All right. None of this is tax advice, financial advice, or legal advice. Let's pop right in and let's talk about Bitcoin. It holds above $71,000 as the dollar surges. So is this bullish strength or is it a warning sign? Bitcoin's trading above 71,000 even as the US dollar strengthens, which is not typically normal for this to happen. All right, if you look at the Bitcoin current price right here, we're around 71,300 today. As of the time of this video, the US dollar index has climbed to 99.4, up from 96.6 just 3 weeks ago. So the dollar is strengthening, and you see a little graph here that shows this. Historically, that is bearish for crypto, but this time Bitcoin's actually holding firm. Strong dollar normally hurts Bitcoin, but not right now. A rising dollar usually means investors move to cash. Risk assets get under pressure and crypto starts facing headwinds, but Bitcoin has a little bit of a rally going on right now. Let's see if it holds. At the same time, the NASDAQ, this is from the other day, fell 1%. Gold dropped about 3.6% yesterday. Bitcoin defended about a 68,000 to 70,000 support zone. We saw it ran up as high as almost 74,000 yesterday. So that signals some real buyer interest going on with Bitcoin right now. And it's also, Bitcoin is decoupling from tech. So this is something new that's starting to happen. Bitcoin's correlation with the NASDAQ 100 has dropped. So before, the correlation was about 92%. Now the correlation is about 69% between the NASDAQ and Bitcoin. And so we're seeing a little bit of a decoupling happening here, which is interesting. TC, what's up? I see you in the chat. So that's a little bit of a meaningful shift that we see going on right now. If you look at the correlation here in this charts, and it suggests Bitcoin may be less dependent on tech stocks right now, and that it's acting more like digital gold. So as of a couple days ago, we did not think like Bitcoin was acting like digital gold. We're seeing a minor shift. It's only been a week or a couple days, so we're not going to count our chickens before they hatch here. But let's see if it continues on. So it's not just a high beta risk trade anymore, Bitcoin. Institutions are still buying. And over the past 7 days, spot Bitcoin ETFs saw $1.5 billion in net inflows. So Bitcoin ETFs are getting it going again with inflows, which is interesting. So there's some serious institutional demand that's coming back in. Will it continue is the question. And I don't know the answer to that. I'm just reporting the data to you, okay? So we got a rising dollar. We got geopolitical tension. We know everything that's been going on with Iran and everything that's happening over there. We got market volatility taking place, but big money is accumulating, and that helps stabilize the price above 70,000. Let's remember, we've been down to 63,000 quite a few times in the last month. We have not touched over 70,000 and held like we have been the last couple of days. But I'm going to show you some signs on some technical analysis that was showing a little bit of bearish sentiment today, and I'm going to show you why. But we'll see how tomorrow opens. We heard about Mara selling. There was some selling fears yesterday that I talked about in my video with Mara. That added some pressure. But sentiment briefly weakened after Mara Holdings suggested they may buy or sell Bitcoin periodically. So we know that Mara holds a lot of Bitcoin. Like Strategy holds a lot of Bitcoin on their balance sheet, Mara does. And there were some changes to their policy recently that's not very bullish news, but in spite of their bearish news, Bitcoin is still rallying, which is good. So investors definitely feared from Mara minor selling pressure. They were worried about that and more supply hitting the market, but clearly we're not seeing that in the price right now. We're seeing the opposite. So that is the story with Mara news. Is the dollar rally really a threat right now to Bitcoin? Because if you're just joining us, I've been talking about the fact that as the dollar goes up, Bitcoin typically does not. But we're seeing the reverse right now. The dollar is strengthening, but Bitcoin's also going up. So let's see what happens. The DXY with dollar index at 99 is far below the 105 to 110 levels that we saw in late 2024. So this could be short-term consolidation, not a major macro shift. You look at the dollar index right now, it's sitting at 99. Meanwhile, Bitcoin holding above 71,000 suggests a little bit of resilience happening, but the key level is 75K, guys. To confirm a new bullish phase, Bitcoin's got to break 75K. We almost hit it the other day. We're like $74,000. Not quite, but 75,000 is it. Until then, the dollar moves will influence the sentiment of Bitcoin. ETF flows remain critical. Of course, we know this has become, a big institutional game, and we know BlackRock leading the institutional inflows has kind of changed the game for crypto, and that's why people are questioning: are we in a bear right now, or are we not? Because institutional inflows with strategy continuing to buy and BlackRock being bullish, and the number of institutions that are building on Ethereum right now. There's all this good long-term news, so it keeps people in question, because typically right now we'd be in a bear, and not to say that we're not in a bear right now, but we'd be down like 80% with Bitcoin as we have been in the previous cycles. And now people are questioning, did we hit the bottom? Will we go up? Because it's a new world with institutional flows, institutional demand. So we don't know what's going to happen in 2026, which keeps things uncertain, right? So is this resilience or just calm before the next macro wave? We'll see. There's also another major signal that it's flashing bullish, and its strategy. So MSTR, guys, may have just added nearly 1,000 Bitcoin in a single day the other day. Strategy signals $1,000 Bitcoin buy, the biggest one-day stretch issuance yet. If you're not familiar with their product Stretch, it's one of their hottest products right now. Lots of people are investing in Stretch. Strategy's preferred stock. It saw a major spike in trading activity the other day. Tuesday's volume was 198 million, well above the 30-day average of 123 million. So it's like, okay, what's happening here? There's huge demand for this product that we're seeing, and you can see the demand here on the screen. And that surge suggests something important. Strategy likely bought around 1,000 Bitcoin in one day. And this is Bitcoin Magazine saying Michael Saylor's strategy is estimated to have bought over 815 Bitcoin today via Stretch. Okay. That's almost double the amount of total Bitcoin that will be mined. And Strategy is gobbling it up with their new product Stretch, and people love their product Stretch. That would be the largest single day accumulation since Stretch launched in July 2025. So that's pretty big news. 2 days, nearly 1,800 Bitcoin, 763 Bitcoin Monday, Tuesday, 1,000 Bitcoin purchased. 2-day total, 1,762 Bitcoin. That's aggressive accumulation, especially while Bitcoin trades near $71,000 to $73,000. How Stretch funds Bitcoin buys? Really simple. When Stretch trades above its $100 par value, its par value is $100. Strategy can activate the ATM, which means at the market issuance, they issue Stretch, they use that money, and they buy Bitcoin. This is the same strategy that they've been using with MSTR common shares. When it's trading at a premium, they issue more shares, and they buy more Bitcoin, and it's accretive for their shareholders. Now they're doing it with Stretch. This company is absolutely phenomenal, unbelievable, amazing. My 5-year outlook for this company is through the roof in 2026. I don't know what's going to happen, just like most people don't know what's going to happen. But I will show you a few things real quick here of what I'm doing and how I'm looking at the charts, because I think this is important news for you to know. If you're looking at BMNR and you're looking at strategy right now, this is how I trade strategy on a daily basis. I tune in and I look at BMNR on the 2-hour, and I look at strategy on the 2-hour charts. I get this from TradingView and Invest Answers. This is the technical indicators I use. If you look at the BMNR on the 2-hour, it's forming a little bit of a bearish right here. So when I start to see the yellow, this is what I came in today. I shorted it. I think I picked up about 3.5–4% on BMNR today, shorting it. Because when it gets yellow, this is when I make decisions to bet against it, and that's when I'm trading BMNR. So on the 2-hour, we'll see if this continues tomorrow. We know that there's been bullish sentiment over the last several days. So we'll see if in the morning this flips blue or if it continues yellow. If it continues yellow, I'll place another bearish trade, like a short on BMNR, and I'll pick up more gains. MSTR, same thing. I'm watching this, and this is really, really interesting news. If you want more on this, you can click down below. There's a 20-minute video I do on how I trade. It's all down below for free. You can grab it. Plus my money game book is down below as well. But if you look at MSTR here, this is just starting to turn bearish. So I placed a little mini short on this today. I picked up about 6 point something% today on MSTR shorting it. And if you look here, this was showing me it was turning yellow and bearish. So I was betting against it. Also, after we went up to 149 the other day, I was pretty confident traders were going to take profits. So I did that and I bet against it and I picked up money. So even while MSTR has been trading kind of in the in-between zone, although we're seeing a mild breakout right now, I'm still, my goal is always to pick up gains and trade it. All right. But something interesting is happening on MSTR. If you want to look at this from an investment standpoint, if you look at the daily time frame on this, and you see how MSTR is looking on the daily, you look at this, and it's actually showing a bullish trend on the daily here, which we have not seen for MSTR in over a month. It's been about 5 weeks since we've seen bullishness on this blue trend. And if you look at MSTR and you go back on the daily, that's why technical analysis is so important. You can listen to the news all day, man, but nothing's more accurate than this stuff. You look at these charts and it's freaking great. Last time we saw a blue on MSTR was right around here at $168 when we saw the blue. And then prior to that, we didn't see blue. Blue means bullish, right? We didn't see blue. Look how yellow it is all the way back to MSTR. It's yellow, 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 all the way back to October when it was trading around $400, man. So these charts are really guiding my investment decisions. It turns yellow at $400 here, back on August 5th. This is the signal to get out. And so hindsight's always 20/20, right? But these charts, I'm looking at this from a long-term perspective, and now I'm like, wow, there's some light going on. Now, could we see just this little blue signal like we saw back here in January for MSTR, where it was a slight, 1 week or 10-day bullish signal? Might be seeing this right now. Yeah, but something's forming here. So that tells me that we're probably we're at 140 right now, MSTR. That tells me that we're probably going to go higher. We might have a bearish day tomorrow. We're probably going to go higher. We're probably going to break 150 is my thoughts on this. But again, I'll just pay attention to the charts and make my moves based on that. So the daily is what tells me to get back into the position longer term when I start to see it fat blue. It's not quite fat enough blue for me. This would be like fat. Like this is fat yellow. This is when I'm more interested in placing a trade when it's fatter. But it's getting kind of fat here, so I'm paying attention. So anyway, that's how I make decisions on this. If you want to know how I'm trading on the daily, you can get it down below. I use the actual, I should say, on a daily basis. I use the 2-hour charts when it's blue. I'll show you this on BMNR because it's super simple here. So on BMNR, when it's blue, I buy. And when it's yellow, I sell. And it's that simple. And this is a 2-hour, and it gives you super, super clear indications. I'm cleaning up on BMNR right now. It's not even a fair game, man. Blue, I buy in and I ride it up. And then when it's yellow, I sell out like I did today. And so I'm just kicking ass trading this stock. So if you want more data on that, you can get it down below, because while it's been trading in between $19 and $21 for like 5 weeks, I've been cleaning its clock. All right. So there you have that. Those are my trading strategies and also my investment outlook. I'm only paying attention to technical analysis right now. Okay. So I'm going to get back to reporting on what's going on here, but my decisions are only based on technical analysis and data. I'm listening to the opinions of other people. I respect Michael Saylor. I respect Tom Lee, but in terms of how I trade and how I invest, it's only technical analysis right now. All right. So with this, if you look at Stretch, there's such cool news with Stretch going on right now because of its par value. Trading above its par value, and we saw a strategy just freaking hit the ATM and just bought more Stretch than it's bought on a single day since July 2025, and that is freaking dope news, right? On Tuesday, 177 million traded above $100. That likely triggered fresh issuance. Those proceeds were used to buy Bitcoin for strategy. Stretch now pays an 11.5% dividend. So when you look into the future of like where we're going on this, and you start to look at like what the future holds, strategy is going to gobble up the fixed income market. If you have an option and you're an older person and you're retiring and you're anticipating looking at this 5 years out, because strategy is really going to gain legs in another 5 years. The general public does not really know about strategy. When you say Stretch, the general public thinks it's a yoga pose or something like that. So it's not really privy information to the general public, but it will be a household name, these products, in about 5-6 years. And I think strategy will be. Right now, we know of it because we watch it all the time, but these products are going to be insanely powerful, and they're backed by the most pristine asset on planet Earth, which is Bitcoin. And more people, rather than retiring with 5%, 6% returns from crappy bonds, they're going to be putting their money into Stretch, and they're going to capture a whole nother demographic that doesn't want the volatility with with common shares of MSTR. There's a whole group of people that don't want that. They'd rather take their 11.5% per year, and they don't want to be in the volatility for the long term. So there's going to be some pretty freaking amazing accumulation of Bitcoin by issuing these products in the marketplace: Stretch, Stride, Strife, etc. And of course, MSTR's common shares. So it's designed to act like a high yield savings instrument, but funding Bitcoin accumulation. And so just like Strategy's game, when they issue more shares of MSTR, they use it to buy Bitcoin. When they issue more shares of Stretch, which is a preferred stock, they buy more Bitcoin. And that's the game. And there's really not much more to their strategy. They just issue shares and they buy Bitcoin. That's what they do, man. That's the name of the game, okay? Why this is bullish for Bitcoin? This matters because Strategy is the largest public Bitcoin holder. It continues buying into strength, and institutional style capital's flowing in. So institutions are paying attention to this. If you're an institution and you're used to parking your money into crap ass bonds around 5 or 6%, or you got to sit it in a savings account, and you have an opportunity to put it into something that's paying 11.5%, what are you going to choose? Particularly if you're an institution that's paying attention to Ethereum and the rails, the new financial rails of the future. What are you gonna put your money in? Institutions that are building on ETH and are moving their ecosystems to the blockchain, which is a lot of institutions right now: BlackRock, PayPal, Deutsche Bank. I can go on and on. So many institutions are doing this. So now that they believe in the blockchain, they're also by default they believe in Strategy. Because if you believe in the blockchain, then you believe in Bitcoin. If you believe in the blockchain, you believe in Ethereum. If you believe in Bitcoin, you believe in Strategy to some degree, right? So these institutions are paying attention to these products that Strategy offers up, because Strategy owns the most Bitcoin next to BlackRock. And so these institutions are like, okay, this company owns the most Bitcoin on the face of the planet out of any company out there. And so we're paying attention to their products that are paying 11.5%. So institutions are flowing into these products. More and more consumers are going to flow into the products, and your parents or grandparents are going to retire in the future off products like Stretch. Because if the inflation, the true inflation is 10% per year, when you add into account management fees, people who have, if you have your money managed, you're likely being charged a 1% management fee, which, by the way, erodes like 25 to 30% of your wealth over the course of 30 years. You've got asset inflation, the purchasing of homes. If you got to send your kids to college, that's additional asset inflation. You've got regular money printing, and then you've just got the CPI they report on the news. So when you stack all of that up to actually just stay ahead today, you need to make 10, 11%. So Stretch is a perfect product for people who want to maintain their lifestyle, keeping pace with inflation, asset inflation, management fees, all that crap that's eroding your wealth, right? It's so interesting. Like in the world today, we're trained of like, hey, if we just make 1 or 2, 3%, like we're making money on our money. Now, like to do anything in today's world, like you got to factor in like a 10. Like if you think it takes the effort of 1 to build a company, factor in 10x that. The estimation of effort for many people is off. The estimation of effort to build a business is off for people. The estimation of effort what it takes to retire is off. And so Stretch becomes the product in the marketplace that allows people to not have to rely on this incorrect estimation of effort that our current financial system is built on. And our current financial system is based on the incorrect estimation of effort. Hence, the products that pay out 5%. Nobody can win long-term with 5%. Just can't. Not going to happen. So Stretch to the rescue, Stretch to the rescue. Stretch is certainly coming to the rescue. So that reinforces the idea that big players see long-term value above $70,000, with obviously Bitcoin above 70,000. And so Strategy goes up, Strategy issues more shares, and they buy more Bitcoin. So Bitcoin pushed above 71K, as we know. Strategy common stock jumped over 7% pre-market the other day. This was from the other day. They dropped today from, it was at 149 yesterday, woke up today and it was right around 145, and it dropped all the way down to 139. So momentum and accumulation is a powerful combination for Strategy. When they get that momentum and they see Bitcoin going up, they strike hard, they issue more shares, they buy more Bitcoin. That's their game plan. Key question now is, does this accumulation help push Bitcoin towards 75K, or does the macro still cap the upside? And that's the question, right? On the Ethereum side, we're going to shift gears here, and something even bigger is happening on the Ethereum side, which is super fascinating. Millions of ETH are quietly leaving exchanges. So ETH is flying off exchanges. People are like, well, is this good or is this bad? Let's take a look. 31.6 million ETH leave exchanges. Vitalik calls for sanctuary Ethereum. What the hell is sanctuary Ethereum? We're going to find out in just a second, okay? Ethereum has been trading sideways near $2,000. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Again, this is why I trade it. It's just like I traded. It's just like it's taking candy from a baby right now. These charts, this is BMNR charts on the 2 hour, yellow to blue, I buy, blue to yellow, I sell out. So I'm trading it because we don't know if we're really going to continue on this run. So while we're not sure whether we're going to continue on this upward run, I'm just using these charts from TradingView and Invest Answers to trade. Again, the video is down below if you want to grab it for free. Okay. So with my trading, I'm still bullish on BMNR. I'm still bullish on Ethereum over the next 4 or 5 years. So in the meantime, I want to have as much gains as I can make and then pick up as much BMNR as I can pick up and then long-term hold so that as Ethereum goes up, that I'm going to win long-term holding BMNR, right? Because we know BMNR is kind of a proxy for Ethereum. But the interesting thing is with Ethereum, the 31.6 million ETH were withdrawn from exchanges in February. And so what does this actually mean? Well, that's the highest level since November. And exchange reserves just hit an all-time low. Investors are moving, and this is what it means, super important. If it's coming off the exchanges, investors are moving towards cold storage. And this is interesting. So that means that investors are like, they're confident in the ecosystem. They're confident in the blockchain. They see the institutional demand. And so many investors are taking their money off the exchanges and moving into cold storage for the future and planning, I would imagine, for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. So when ETH leaves exchanges, it means one thing: investors don't plan to sell soon. And so that's something that's happening right now. So again, that's a bullish sign. Do we know if this is going to continue? No, we don't know. And also, again, like this is the 2 hour chart flashing right now on BMNR. If you look, it's yellow. It started turning yellow today. So this indication meant it was going to go down. And then if we open like this tomorrow and it's fatter, we're going to go down more. But we could open tomorrow and it's blue, and then I'll know that we're going bullish. Okay. So I look on a daily basis based on these indicators. I know which way we're going. And so we don't know. And on the daily, let's just remember something for long term. There's been no sign yet. And this is how I'll know we're actually really bullish. But there's no sign of this right now. And this is super important to point out. On the daily for BMNR, I was just showing you the 2 hour chart. There's no sign here that we're bullish on BMNR right now. All right. There's been yellow all the way back to October 15th, right after the big liquidation event. So we have not been blue. Blue means bullish on BMNR since freaking October 20th, guys. October 15th was the last time we were blue here. And so that price point was $53 for BMNR. So I'm not sold at all from a technical standpoint that we are bullish right now long-term on BMNR. 5-year period, I'm super bullish. The next 2, 3, 4 months, I will know that we're truly bullish on BMNR when this turns blue. You can see it's been fat yellow for a while. It's thinning, but we don't know. So we're going to see in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'll keep revisiting this. When I see a fat blue on this, that's when I know from a long-term perspective, we're going to have a larger run up on BMNR. Right now, that ain't flashing. So whatever the news is and the hype is right now, it's just news. So I'm reporting good news when it's there, but I'm also giving the stone cold technical analysis. That's all yellow. And that's on the daily charts. When it turns blue, I'll get excited. Right now, I'm happy to have some good news. Make sense? All right. So when ETH leaves exchanges, it usually means one thing: investors don't plan to sell soon. Okay. So that's good from a long-term perspective. They're moving to private wallets, preparing for long-term holding, reducing available supply on exchanges. Oh yeah. And then one more thing. Again, if you want to get these charts, if you want to see how I navigate on these charts, there's a whole video down below on how I use these charts, and you can watch the full detail about it. Also, the tech on this is TradingView and Invest Answers. I get nothing by referring you to TradingView or Invest Answers. It's just good tech, and I like to promote good tech. Okay, so moving into private wallets here, Binance alone saw 14.4 million of ETH withdrawn. You have Kraken also recorded major outflows as well. And even recent war headlines didn't trigger panic selling. So investors accumulated instead. So price context definitely matters here. ETH is still down roughly 60%. So we can be happy on the positive news in the last couple of days, but let's not forget, we're still down 60%. We're hovering around $2,000. The daily charts aren't telling me that we're bullish yet at this point. We've had a good couple of days. Let's tack it up to that. Okay. when heavy withdrawals happen near these key price levels, it often signals conviction. So we are seeing these withdrawals and money moving onto exchanges. So that is good news for the long-term infrastructure of Ethereum and BMNR. Okay. Right. So that is, oh yeah. And then one more thing, less exchange supply, which is happening right now, can mean tighter liquidity if demand returns. All right. So that's the game. Bitmine and large buyers are adding some fuel for sure. Bitmine purchased 50,000 ETH earlier this month. They now hold 3.71% of the supply. So if you've been following this channel for a while, you know we've been talking about the 5% alchemy that BMNR is going to gobble up 5% of the Ethereum supply. And right now they have 3.71%. It's a layup. Like that's the biggest thing in the bag, in the bank. They will get to 5% with their eyes closed. All right. We should be looking more like, will they eventually get to 7, 8, 10% of the ETH supply? All right. Because that's very possible. BMNR or MSTR has about 3.44% of the Bitcoin supply. Let's not forget that Sailor and MSTR started 6 years ago on this journey accumulating Bitcoin, and BMNR started 9 months ago. BMNR is the stock to watch for the future. MSTR is just a behemoth. They're going to gobble up the market with all of their credit products that they're issuing out there. They're going to own and dominate the market. And then BMNR is owning Ethereum, or the largest supply of Ethereum. So they're going to clean up too, because their freaking business model is epic as well. So that's positioning going on. Vitalik's bigger vision. He talks about sanctuary technologies. What does this mean? I think this is actually pretty cool. He says Ethereum should focus on building sanctuary technologies, tools that protect freedom, protect privacy, enable coordination. As government and corporate control expands, Ethereum's mission isn't just finance, it's digital sovereignty. So I think it's very cool that he's coming out with this. I think it's super dope. Hats off to Vitalik on this. He's introduced a broader idea of what Ethereum stands for. And I think for people to invest in the technology long-term, they need that vision. They need that broader idea. They need a movement to get behind. Strategy has certainly created a movement with what they're doing. And the people who follow them are like massive, like followers. Vitalik is doing this with Ethereum with this statement, and hats off and kudos to him. He says Ethereum should evolve into a sanctuary technology ecosystem. What does it mean? It means open source systems resistant to censorship, and it's useful during geopolitical instability that we're facing right now. And he says tools for living, tools for working, and tools for managing assets. His argument is simple. In a world of rising surveillance and conflict, which we see all the freaking time, Ethereum should definitely protect individual sovereignty. And that's the mission of what he's doing. That's a long-term ideological shift, not just a price narrative, which good leaders do that. And he's being a good leader in doing that. So hats off to him. What does this mean for ETH? We have record exchange withdrawals and reserves that are all-time lows. So that is good. Institutions are accumulating, and we got a founder pushing a long-term mission. And despite the sideways price action, investors appear willing to hold through all of this volatility, because that's the signal when it goes out of exchanges into cold storage. That's a signal of long-term strength. So in my mind, there's no question that we're going to have a bright, bright future for MSTR, BMNR, Ethereum, and Bitcoin into the future. The question is what will happen in 2026, and I don't have the answer for you. Okay, this is unfamiliar territory. We are living in a totally new age right now. The institutional flows in that are continuing to happen, and all this news that comes out would not have people questioning 4 years ago. 4 years ago, we'd be like, we're in a bear and we're going lower. Right now, many of us think we're going lower. Many of us think we're going higher. It's kind of split to some degree. I would say more people are leaning bearish, but institution inflows make people question what will happen in 2026. And I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen to the price. So I continue to pay attention to what's happening in the market by just following technical analysis. I watch and pay attention to the news just to hear what's going on. I listen to other thought leaders to hear what's going on, get different viewpoints, but I make my investment decisions based on the charts. And there's nothing blue about this chart right now with BMNR. When it turns blue, I will know long-term from an investment standpoint. We'll probably have a longer run up. Until then, I will trade BMNR and I will trade MSTR like I'm doing it. And that's what my game plan is right now. If you want to get more access to content like this, you can like the channel, subscribe to it. Hope you enjoy this stuff. I always cover stuff on BMNR, MSTR, Bitcoin, Ethereum, because those are my passions. I wrote a whole book called Money Game that if you want it, you can snag that 100% free. I spent like 6-7 months writing this book. I've been researching finance for literally the last 20 years of my life. I started out in finance at 21 years old. So in the book, I give you a different perspective on what it was like to be I was a partner for a financial services company at a very young age. So I was inside the game, seeing how traditional financial products work. So I have the comparative data of old traditional finance compared to new digital finance, and I highlight all of that in the book. So if you want to know about that and compare the data, if you want to introduce something to a family member, give them the book for free. It gives you both viewpoints. I tend to believe that if somebody's going to make an intelligent decision, they need data and they need comparable statistics. Like, what was the old world like, or what is it like? What's the new world like? And make the best pro-survival decision. That's what the book helps you do. You can snag it. And then with the book is my video for free on how I trade. Again, today I cleaned up. I did about 3.5% on BMNR and 6% on trading strategy. I'm shorting it. And I'm also, when I trade it, and then I did a video yesterday, where was it 2 days ago, where I lost money. So I show you what I did where I lost money because I got greedy. I was up and I got greedy and then I lost money. So you don't win all the time, but my win ratio is pretty good. And you can check out my trading video down below. And I hope this serves you. And I hope you're having a good time with the the news that we've gotten over the last couple of days. And I hope it continues. I hope we continue to go on a bullish run, and it would be amazing if 2026 could turn into something. I just find myself in unfamiliar territory, as I'm sure everybody else does, because we just got mixed news from institutions and retail, and it's a different world. We are not in the same world we were in any of the previous bull runs. And right now we're in kind of an in-between stage. Many would think we're in a bear right now, and I would agree with that, at least temporarily. So we'll see what happens, and have a great rest of the day. You can snag my book down below. Just go click and grab it, and it's yours. All right. Hope it serves you, and hope you have a great rest of the day. And I will see you guys on the next video. See you soon.